And it's Shock Modification Part 2, episode 59 maybe, and all this. Anyway, so I have pushed the bushing out one side. And on the lathe, I made up a quick set of tools to help punch it through. Basically, the shoulder lets me put it forth just that much, so I know what I'm doing. Gets it out. I see, of course, sorry, this is the other side. Goes over, receives it. Push it out just enough. Now, sorry if I'm shaking a little bit. I'm trying to do this. All right. Now, if you can see this ridge, there is a ridge here, and that's basically what was pressed in. It was out sticking out one side more than the other. Now, if I cut right, if I hold this as a guide, make a nice pencil mark around there, and make that as a guide to cut the rubber back to expose the metal, I'm in a pretty good spot then. Okay, I have cut back the rubber to expose just the metal tube. I pressed the bushing the rest of the way out, so it's on its own. And I figured out how to set this up in the lathe. Basically, you can see the metal is hanging out. Now, if I where is that nut? There it is. If I wind a nut in and tighten it up against that, it does hold this in place enough for me to take a very thin cutter and cut. So I get a clean cut. It's the best way. I get a clean parallel cut with the other side. So that's how I did the first one. So let me go over to the car. Okay, so you can see the first one I've done, and this one has yet to be done. And it has worked out well taking him completely out. So now let me do some assembly. I don't need the actual shock to do a mock-up here and check this. I just really need the cut bushing and everything in place. And it lets me know if I have the right amount of room. So yes, I do. And there is a little play. Mainly it's my fault. I was trying to cut it 1.13 inches. I'm trying to remember that. And things moved a little on me and it cut too much. I'm going to get a couple spare of these bushings just in case. I'll get them delivered in next week. Probably they'll show up on Wednesday. And that way I got a process. Since I got a process, I can dial this in. I also have some 1/2 inch shim washers coming, which could help too in spacing that over. Let's see if I can turn the light on this. Come on, turn the light on. Yeah, there it is. See if it gets in there. That's a little better. And let's see if I can do this. Oh, now it wants to focus on my fingers and not on that. Sorry if it's blurry. It doesn't like me for that. Let's try that. There's just... So I think this side is 1.13 is the distance that this should be. And if I had to put a small shim in, I would. I also have the larger shim coming to go around the outside of that one. I was able to pick up an 18 millimeter by 25 millimeter, which is the correct inside diameter. And 25 should work fairly well for this. Of course, get him in hand and try him out. And that's how we'll see if that works. So that's how that goes. I think this is the path forward. So, and when I'm all done, got the right bushing and everything happy, I'll press the bushing back in the shock, and then I can put the shock together. So, the bushing for the right side should be 1.13 wide inches. And the left should be 1.19. I did this because I figured that out. Took the cut one, took it to the other side, mocked it up, and measured what the gap was. So that makes it pretty close to the end. So I'm taking a bronze bushing, half-inch bronze bushing, and tighten the bushing up against here, and I can measure from this surface out and know where I should cut. And if I'll cut into the bushing too, but it will, for the most part, almost down to the last bit, will give me a nice shoulder to work with. And if I have to do a little bit of filing at the end, at least I have a good point to work from. I have measured and locked in where the cutter should be, and this will be for the left side. And I say I will cut into the bronze bushing, and it should work out what I need. All right, I've locked my carriage in, so this is where I'm going from here. Well, this is the setup. I was going to cut this for the left side, and I'm looking about how much I'm taking off, second guessing myself a little bit. And if I have new bushings coming, sorry if let me see if I steady this. If I have new bushings coming, then I don't need to take as much rubber off for the left side. So I think I will recut this. I will cut this one for the right, and on a new one, when I get them next week, I will cut the new one with a lot less rubber and trim it up because I don't need a lot. And I have the method down. It's not that bad. So, and I won't have to press it out of the shock either. But of course, leaving it somewhat in the shock makes it easier to trim the rubber. So I won't have to modify the other one as much. Okay, let me get to cutting this. Sorry if I don't show this cutting, but I need all my attention on what I'm doing and not attention filming. I need attention for cutting. Well, the second bushing I cut to 1.13, and let's see, and it is, I mean, just a hair play in there. I mean, really. So, that is, I say, maybe as close as I'm going to get. That's pretty good for all that. Yeah. All right, now, just to get the spare bushings and make one for the other side. But the method works. So, that's the important thing. Coming up with the method, and it works. And we can see where the edge of, when I press it back in, where that edge should be for the mount on the shock. So how much it should protrude out. Well, this is just a little informative short video of how did I get about to what I was doing, you know? All right. Have a good day.